The NBA is not sleeping at all. The rumor mill is still going. Kevin Durant, what's going on with him? What's going on with Kyrie Irving? And to talk about that, we have special guest Scoop B. Robinson from Bally Sports joining us. Scoop, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me, my brother.
So what's the latest with Kevin Durant and his situation? Because he obviously asked for a trade. It hasn't happened yet. And is that still a go? Where are things at?
I think we're still in an impasse right now in this situation. George, it was about 4 weeks ago, Kevin Durant requested a trade, and it's all based off of a few things. From all that I've gathered is, number one, I use the term informational overload. There's a lot of things that have kind of just gone either confused or unsaid as it relates to, number one, the basis of Kyrie Irving and his future opting in to a $37 million player option to return. But in addition to that, the coaching staff. The Nets did not retain some of their assistant coaches, I'm told, or as you all know, with David Vanterpool, Adam Harrington, and others. And, Adam Harrington is a shooting coach with Kevin Durant that dates back to his days in Oklahoma City with the Thunder. But there's some other issues there. As I've reported ad nauseum, even the front office and their coaching staff at large, with Sean Marks and Steve Nash, you go back to when Steve Nash was brought in 2019, 2020, he was not Kevin Durant's first pick. In fact, it was Ty Lue, who's now the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers. And Kyrie Irving, of course, his first choice was Philadelphia, who's still in Los Angeles as an assistant with the Lakers. But there's some deeper issues, just where their direction is going. I know they made some moves this offseason. They brought in Royce O'Neal via the Utah Jazz and some other people. But, ultimately, it really deserves a conversation, and I think that the Nets and Kevin Durant will have one. As it relates to the Boston Celtics and some of my colleagues reporting today, that was an ongoing conversation. I know it's breaking news to many people, but from all of my understandings and conversations that I've had with people, Boston was a team that was looking at that situation fluidly. And, ultimately, if I'm the Nets, I'm not giving up Kevin Durant unless there's any iteration that includes Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and 3 first-round picks. And in order to do that, to get Kevin Durant, you have to move some other pieces, and I would imagine that Joe Harris would be part of that. That's nothing that I'm reporting. That's just what I would imagine if the Nets are looking to proceed, because they don't just have to give up Kevin Durant. I used this analogy on Twitter. You don't just give up a Rolls Royce for a couple of Acuras. You give up Rolls Royce in return. And if the Celtics are not giving up Jason Tatum, then there you have it.
So you don't think that there's a way to get the deal done without Jason Tatum? I mean, what if you have, Jaylen Brown and I guess he's really the only major piece in Williams that could be considered valuable. So is there any way to get a deal done without those two names?
Well, there's a couple things you'd have to consider. One, you may have to get another team involved. There's some teams out there with either cap space and or players that could be moved. And so you look at a longer form deal. I know that it was reported earlier this month, that Utah could be involved in any sort of move. You look at them looking to potentially move Donovan Mitchell. You look at the neighboring New York Knicks. You add 3 or 4 more teams. But I hear everything you're asking me, but ultimately, in order for this to be a thing, the Celtics would have to add more, and I'm just not certain that they're the team. I still do think that it's going to come down to Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Sean Marks, Steve Nash, sitting down and having a conversation about mapping the next year. Because even if you're moving Kevin Durant and you have championship aspirations, Steve Nash is still on the hot seat. Okay, what you say?
Yeah, it's funny because I, for a one, was very. I mean, I guess the proper word is critical of Steve Nash and his playoff coaching performance. Like I thought it left when you saw what Ime Udoka did as a rookie head coach. I mean, you can't help but if you are a you know Brooklyn Nets fan, wish for that for your franchise. You know what I mean? Like, and you have to be sitting there saying, "Whoa, how can this team be coached so well and ours not be up to the coaching level?"
Well, I mean, when you look at Ime Udoka, there's a few things you have to look into. Number one, um, him coming into the Nets organization was still a San Antonio Spurs connection there with Sean Marks. You look at some of the other guys that are in that organization. Tiago Splatier, who was there when Marks was there. You look at Jacques Vaughn, who's their lead assistant. He's still there. It's very it's very San Antonio Spurs centered. I know that, speaking of Utah Jazz, I know Adam Keefe is one of the assistant coaches in Brooklyn, former Utah Jazz during the Stockton and Malone days. But when you look at Ime Udoka and what he did in Boston year one, it starts with a good front office staff. You look at Brad Stevens, who slid over from the head coaching ranks and replaced Danny Ainge. I believe president of basketball operations. Ainge is now in Utah. It starts with a stable front office and a stable staff in that regard. And I have to be very honest with you, not comparing the Nets to the Boston Celtics sanity, because it won't get you far. You look at, and that's not no disrespect, but
Yeah.
there's a reason why the Boston Celtics have won multiple championships. There's a reason why with Grossbeck, the governor with the Celtics, is able to put together good product and able to replicate that. It's because of stability. I think a lot of times people hold Sean Marks and Steve Nash in this regard that they're the second coming of Christ, and they haven't won anything.
Yep. Yeah. They not only have they not won anything, they the only reason why they've even, I believe, even made the playoffs is because how the hell can you miss the playoffs with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on your team? Like you would have to be a saboteur to do that. You guys, we're on with Scoop B Robinson from Bally Sports. Now the Kyrie Irving stuff. Well, actually,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the Kyrie Irving. Where do things stand there? I know that your leading belief is that they're going to end up running it back with the Brooklyn Nets, but it didn't seem like that there was a whole lot of talk about Kyrie outside of the Lakers. Is there any other rumblings with him?
Well, the Lakers portion of it, from what I'm told from sources, was always a Lakers belief more than it was Kyrie Irving. If not the Lakers, the Clippers. If not the Clippers, I don't know. Everything that I've gotten. I mean, you look at the five teams that were mentioned. It was the Knicks. That's a hell no. That's the Sixers. How do you fit that when you have Tyrese Maxey and James Harden essentially by position running point? You brought the brother in DeAnthony Melton this offseason from the Memphis Grizzlies. He was backing up John Morant. Okay, so where would Kai fit in that? You look at the Miami Heat. I mean, I know that there was conversation related around Strus, Kyle Lowry, and Tyler Hero, but Miami doesn't want to part with Tyler Hero. You'd also have to give up picks, and I know that some teams are hesitant on Kyle Lowry, and specifically because that's Jimmy Butler's guy. Okay, so that's that. So you have the Knicks, you have Philly, you have Miami, you have the Dallas Mavericks. Folks that I've spoken to in Dallas, they've said to me that they're kind of set. And one of the reasons why they're set is because, even though you gave up Jalen Brunson, you let him walk and he went to the Knicks in the offseason, free agency. You bring back Tim Hardaway Jr. and you bring back the big man that they got in the trade with Houston, Christian. They feel like scoring they're going to be fine where they need to be, and they don't really want to mess up the rotation with Luka Doncic. So there's Dallas. The Lakers were named. The Lakers don't want to give up Anthony Davis. You don't want to give up Russell Westbrook. Or you want to give up Russell Westbrook. You don't want to give up Anthony Davis. You don't want to give up picks. Okay, so to me, Clippers make sense because of the Ty Lue factor. But then they're set with John Wall. I think we're just going around this all around the mulberry bush. To me, Kai and Kevin are fit the net system. I think as much as Kai and his representation have offered up teams. And, you look at the Kevin Durant side, Phoenix ain't trying to give up Devin Booker. So you left with Cam Johnson and some other pieces. I don't see it at this point. I just feel like we're just rotating the same and regurgitating the same news. To me, the best fit on the Kevin Durant side is the Pelicans, but the Pelicans don't want to give up Brandon Ingram. On the Kyrie side, the best fit would be the Lakers, but the Lakers don't want to give up Anthony Davis. So, I know 1 and 1 is 2, and I know Lakers fans want to convince me that 2 and 2 is 5, but I know 2 and 2 is 4.
Man, hey, 2 and 2 is 5, Scoop. 2 and 2 is 5.
All right, I'll let you tell it.
You guys, we're on with Scoop B. Robinson from Bally Sports.